and welcome to another Primetime Muscle athletes and fans around the world. I'm Tim Wilkins, as always, joined by two of the best guys I could have on either side. Tarek Gilgindi, nice to see you.
Great to be here. We're all very elegant today. You and I are always elegant, but today is a special occasion where Chris Cormier joins the elegant club.
I am very elegant today, and I'm looking quite dapper, if I don't say.
We said so too before the show, and just now we're going to confirm your dapperness.
Dapped up.
Is there a designer? Who are we wearing today, Chris?
This is just a little secret, you know.
Straight out of Ross, if you ask me. Straight out of Ross.
That sounds like an album.
Do you guys
Ross.
believe that? Come on.
Straight out of Ross.
Do you guys believe that?
I don't believe it. All right, guys, we all have chosen a classic look, and that's my segue today. Talking about the Arnold Classic and their classic physique. And this one did see some of the best competitors.
Surprise.
It did see a surprise.
Gomer Pyle.
Surprise. We're only the only ones old enough to get that reference, Chris.
Right. Showing our age.
Yes, we are. We had a few guys, Chris, that were just top of the food chain, battling it out, bringing guys like Brion, who brought his absolute best. Absolute best.
The usual suspects were still in control of the sport of classic bodybuilding. Wesley, maybe was the biggest surprise of the show. When they had him out there, I was thinking, oh, okay, they always did what they did before. They'd take a look and then they put him back. But he was a mainstay, in that position, looking for first and second. That's what the judges was telling us from the lineup. I thought, in the pre-judging, I thought, Brion, who I love dearly, that, he was twisting a little bit here, and it was kind of like, I think they were kind of like thinking like, okay, if you're in a big lineup of 6, a lot of the guys like to do the bookends when they flare in a little bit. That's like the old school style.
Make sure the judges see you. Don't get lost.
But not when it's 4 people. Not when it's 4 people. And the commotion was so loud, I couldn't even communicate that, to Brion, because it was just too loud to get my voice projected across the way, because it was on the far side. It wasn't in front of me. And they never moved the guys around. Never moved them around. They kept them right there in that solid 4, from start to finish, that solid 4. And I was thinking, maybe they'll move them around at the night show. And the only 2 I moved around was Dino and Wesley.
So, Tarek.
Not to mention, the left side of the stage was a little bit brighter than the right side of the stage.
I saw some of that online.
Yes.
Tarek, the word was, and you and I had a discussion about this, that if Bumstead was not on the stage, that it was an automatic Ramon Dino show. And I was quoted as saying, as you guided all the dinosaurs to my social media, that Ramon Dino was not the hands-down, unchallenged heir apparent to the C-Bum throne. And here we are, the second biggest show, Wesley Vissers.
Tim Wilkins, Ramon Dino goes into the 2023 Mr. Olympia after a dominant performance at the Arnold, winning that show, puts the heat on Chris Bumstead, sends a message to everybody, I'm the one, I'm the Matrix, I'm the one who's gonna replace C-Bum. Goes into the Arnold, which a lot of people said, well, shouldn't be waiting for the Olympia, you're so close. But he decided he wants the money, he wants the picture. And he went in there as a favorite, looked good, not as good as the Olympia. But there was a guy there, Tim, by the name of Wesley Vissers, which I had judged him in Romania. And right after Romania, I noticed that he was much better than the Olympia. And he improved even more for the Arnold. The problem was when Ramon hit his front double biceps and Wesley Vissers hit his front double biceps, you could already tell that Wesley Vissers was more conditioned than Ramon. Now, that's not to say Ramon was not conditioned. That's just credit to Wesley Vissers, who was probably the most conditioned guy on stage, maybe just a tad better than Hadi Chupin. That's how crazy good he looked. Now, another thing is, Ramon Dino has huge arms, right? Wesley Vissers has huge arms too. It's like he was the kryptonite to Ramon. And then the cuts on the legs. Wesley Vissers had deeper cuts on the legs than Ramon Dino. Does Ramon have better lines than Wesley Vissers? Absolutely. But conditioning, posing, Wesley Vissers delivered a powerful performance. He's the Arnold champion. The key question, look at side chest. He opened a little bit more his side chest. He made himself look bigger than Ramon Dino. If Ramon Dino, just opened a little bit more, now he looks bigger, but he's closing his physique. The posing Ramon needs to get better. That's not just me saying this. That's Steve Weinberger. That's Tyler Manion. That's pretty much every judge. You need to pose better. You're not posing as well as you should. From the back double biceps, you can see there was deeper separation. It was thicker. Now, Wesley Visser is going to need more legs, more quads, and more striations on those glutes. But man, what a battle, 1 point decision. You can't take it away from Wesley Vissers.
You could see in the side chest, you could see in the back double bicep that he was getting the best of Dino. He does have the long legs from the back, but Dino wasn't able to display the cuts and the separation in the hamstrings to overcome Wesley's also. So, Wesley, I thought his feet were a little close together for my liking. I think he could have widened his stance a little bit with a big person like that, a 6'3" competitor. But, you can't take it away from him. You saw that he was in shape far out from the show. He was 6 weeks out. He was already in shape for the show. And, it was his time. Everything lined up for him to win the show. That's what he did. He did what he's supposed to do. The back double bicep, you saw, that he was, he had a better, the latissimus dorsi region tie-in and everything right there was more prominent than Dino's.
Now, you talk about being the kryptonite for somebody. He's going into a vacuum, but prior to that, he was in his abs and thigh shot. I'm counting 10, 8 pack at least, 10 pack. Beautiful separation in the quads. Standing next to Bumstead, where is he? He's dead.
He's
dead. No. Stop. Just stop right now.
The side chest. And
hear me out for a second,
okay,
Chris Cormier. Maybe I'll teach something for you.
Listen, Mr. Judge, that's sitting at home from his couch. I was there, and you just got to say, this is one show. This is not like, okay, this is how the sport's gonna be. It's just for tall people only. Otherwise, all the shorter stature people should just retire because they're never gonna win a big show. Because that's not the case. The case is everything lined up. His conditioning, the look, everything. It just was weighed in his favor this time. But that don't mean he's gonna take out someone like C-Bomb.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I don't know why you tried to disagree with me.
Because I had to overshadow it because you're always trying to call out Nico's name and Brown nose. So I said it.
What is he talking about, Nico?
You know what I said.
We need to drug test this freaking guy. He's just going out on a tangent. America, help Chris Cormier.
So I intercepted the ball, and I took it in for the touchdown. Okay. That's what I did.
America,
I scored.
America, come back here where we're sober, okay? The question was, Tim Wilkins asked, how close is Wesley Vissers to C-Bum?
Look at that.
Okay, and my answer is not there yet. Chris Bumstead still to be a little bit ahead of these guys. Chris Bumstead was not at his best in 2023, and he still beat Ramon, who was at his best. I think Chris still a step ahead of these guys. Now, Chris needs to bring the 2022 Chris. That's dominant. The 2023 Chris is not dominant and can open. But I still see Chris a little bit ahead of Wesley Vissers, Ramon, and Urs Kalaczynski.
All right.
And excuse me, in the classic shots they were doing, I noticed that Wesley started trying to do the 3/4 front double bicep shot. That's not a good shot. I know he likes to do it because he thinks he's like, Arnold. And what do you got to say about, he was saying like, oh, this has been my dream, at the end. And they were like, oh, you've been my idol. He said, oh, you remind me of Lou Ferrigno.
Oh.
I was like, melt.
He was so disappointed.
He was.
His
like,
entire life.
He's like, I've been calling myself
He calls himself
the German oak.
The Dutch
No,
oak.
the Dutch oak.
The Dutch oak, and Arnold said, you remind me of Lou Ferrigno.
You're the picky Dutchman. You're not the
I could
oak.
just feel Wesley Vissers going like this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Don't you see the poses I'm doing? I'm doing
he goes, he's doing the Arnold poses.
I got it from you.
But
You, Dad.
You. I could have been a contender. But anyways, Wesley Vissers wins the champion. And I'm going to disagree with Arnold. I don't see Lou Ferrigno and Wesley Vissers. I see Arnold. I see Arnold. They're kind of like...
That's like me seeing I'm talking to Holyfield and I just knocked somebody out. I've been going to this real deal Holyfield thing. He said, yeah, you remind me of Joe Frazier. You remind me of Joe Frazier up there. I'm you.
So there he is. This is the point I was heading towards. So here's the jealousy, and here's how this probably played out in Arnold's head. Here's a kid, 6'3", beautiful lines, but in a lot of those poses, more cut than Arnold was at that weight in those years.
Yeah, it's different technology.
But listen, when Arnold threw that arm out there, you saw the belly of the tricep, the belly of he had that long, it's a different look. Though.
It's a different look, but you can see how he'd be kind of bristling at the fact that there's a new oak, a younger oak.
And what does he weigh here? What, 218?
No, he's probably in the 230 range. 6'3"?
Visser?
Yeah, he's probably 230. What's the top end of that, Judge?
I think Wesley is about 225, 230.
Yeah.
And he can gain 7 kilos.
Pounds.
Pounds.
And then they all trying to do the 3/4 back and then not even doing it the correct way. Like Dino his 3/4 back is not hitting the way he wanted to. And he's leaning over too far to the crowd with it, trying to match what Chris Bumstead started doing a couple of years ago. But I'm not buying it. I think you need to find your own classic shot and stick with that.
Well, while Tim looks for the weight category,
I'm trying to find the weight category.
I want to congratulate all these guys. The classic physique is becoming popular.
We were pumped up.
And man, now at the Olympia to see what happens. If C-Bub doesn't retire, we got Urs, you got Ramon, you got Brion, you got Wesley Vissers, Tim Wilkins.
And Brion's still a challenger. Don't sleep on Brion Ansley.
We're going to be talking about Brion when we
Swan.
come back in this primetime muscle.
Don't sleep.
And we're back, and we're covering the rest of men's classic physique this year's Arnold Classic. Wesley Vissers and Ramon Dino put on a clinic. These guys were battling it out for that first and second place. You talk about usual suspects. That third and fourth spot, even at last year's Olympia, Urs Kalaczynski and a guy named Brion Ansley?
Black Swan. Yeah, the judges do respect these guys. Don't get it twisted. They're never going to be... as long as they're in shape, I mean, look at Brion in that shot right there. That's just beautiful.
Just glorious.
Yeah, so that shot is very strong for Brion, that crucifixion shot. And, the back, we always talk about, the uncrowned, not uncrowned, he's been crowned, but He's never been beaten in that back double bicep shot. To me, I like the definition in the hamstrings with Brion also. Yeah, I mean, he just looks developed, and it just seems like some of the times when Uris is, you know, at the age of 25, still don't have the back density and detail and development yet. Also, the arm and the bicep shots, you got to get more definition out of the bicep shot. Brion has that because he naturally has big arms. Some of the guys that don't naturally have big arms, they tend to lose because they're trying to put so much emphasis in the front double bicep when they don't naturally have big arms like that, and they lose the definition on the way.
Okay.
Brion has that. You can see it in every front double bicep. You see the separation of the peak of the bicep, the belly of the tricep, and also that, you know, that third tricep muscle going down towards the elbow. And I mean, I feel for Brion because I know he was looking to possibly win the title again. He was the first Classic champion to win the title.
I'm just really surprised, Chris.
At the Olympia or at the Arnold?
At the Arnold.
At the Arnold, okay.
You know, Tarek, I'm still going back to the Olympia. I'm still going back to the Arnold Classic, and thinking about the conditioning, especially with this show. Thinking about the conditioning of Brion versus Urs, and wondering how the judges
How does that work?
They're just
Come up with the plan, because the eye test tells you one thing and the judges tell you another.
Explain that to us, Judge.
I've been wondering that for like 20-some years. Like, how does the eye test tell you one thing, but the judges come up with another reason to why it was not the case?
Tim, ask the question one more time, please.
Why?
Derek, how are the judges making this decision? What are the criteria that they're going for when it would appear that Brion is very well conditioned?
They told me the
Yeah, no doubt. Brion Ansley is great conditioning. He's got an amazing back. His back development is incredible. But bodybuilding is not about conditioning. If it was, Andreas Munzer would have been 10 times Mr. Are you going to let me answer? Are you going to let me answer?
You just talked.
Are you going to let me answer?
I'm talking for the people.
Are you going to let me answer?
I'm talking for the people.
Just let me know if you're going to let me.
Every bodybuilder out there
let me know if you're going to let me educate you about life.
Go ahead, Derek.
Educate me.
Okay. Bodybuilding has plenty of criteria, such as conditioning, muscularity, shape, posing, presentation. Brion Ansley has impeccable conditioning, okay? Impeccable. Now, his clavicle bones, as you can see here, are not as large as Ramon. And Ramon does not have some of the largest clavicle bones. What I think what's happening to Brion Ansley is this. When he won his 2 titles, the waist was a bit smaller and the quads were coming out. The quads were a little bit more prominent. As he got a little bit older, and it happens with every great bodybuilder.
Look at that. What's happening?
The waist just got a little bit more extended and the quads are not as prominent. Now, his back double biceps is incredible, no doubt. But you need more than that to win an entire event.
Well, you got the front double.
You need a front double biceps. You need a side chest. You need abdominals and thighs, and you need your favorite classic physique. You know what I mean? So you need more than that.
Did I say that?
Okay, so that is the fact. If Brion came up to me and asked for feedback, I said, Brion, your waist is not as small as when you won the Olympia, and your legs are not as prominent. You need to get more quads to make your waist smaller. On conditioning, you're on point. Your back double biceps is on point, but on your front double biceps, we're not seeing that small waist and the quads.
So if he had a bigger, fuller, smoother body, and put one of those cummerbund things around his waist to make it smaller, and come in smoother, would that be better?
No, nobody's saying for a competitor to come in smoother.
But you could be smoother and still win.
No, yes, absolutely. Derek Lunsford lost the most muscular and the ab shots to Hadi Chupin because he didn't have the separation. But then he proceeded to win other shots.
No.
You're just pointing out. You're pointing out.
No.
You're doing the typical coach, okay?
I'm telling the eye test.
Listen to me.
I'm
You're
using
doing
the eye
the typical
test.
coach, okay? You're picking your
Why don't
customers.
you read online?
You're picking your
There's so many
customers.
people with the same.
You're picking your customer's best pose, and you're telling the world, how can my guy not win the show?
Boom! Look at that.
The show is not about one pose.
I will say
the
though,
show
Jack.
is about many poses.
And if you're there,
okay?
and if you're sitting at home like you were, and not sitting in the front row like I was, and seeing the different things dancing, like that prejudging, all the striations in the quads was dancing. All the hamstrings was dancing.
There's a reason.
That you was at home and I was there.
There's a reason why when the biggest
You're not able to judge on that level.
The biggest show
They don't
on earth,
trust you to judge on that level.
when the biggest show on earth
They don't
happens,
trust you to judge on that
you're
level.
behind me and I'm making the decision. You're the one asking me for the ticket. Okay, that's when
They
the
don't
biggest
trust
show
you to judge
happens.
on that level.
That's
Did
the
I not-
biggest show happens. You're asking me for a ticket.
But they don't trust
You're
you to
asking me
judge on
for
that
a
level,
ticket.
obviously.
You're asking me.
Obviously. Obviously. You better sit down, boy.
We're going to go to...
Boy. You better sit down.
We're going to go
Calm
to
yourself.
me.
Talk too damn.
So as we go back to the thoughts...
Suck, you fool.
You better sit down. You better sit your butt down.
Come with it.
Sit your
Come
butt
with it.
down.
You know,
Sit
come
your-
with it.
sit your big butt down.
Come with it. Get your big
Come
fat
over
ass
here. Come
over
over
here.
here again.
And I'll choke you.
Come over
you
here
wake
again.
up. You're gonna wake up in Palmdale,
stay-
where you should have never come
You
from.
better stay in that chair.
When we come back, we're going to talk about women's fitness and how they fared at the last year's, or the previous, thank you very much, the previous Arnold Classic. All right, we're back on Primetime Muscle. We'd like to thank our new sponsors, Xanax, the Breakfast of Champions for each of our hosts. They've each been given their new supplement, and they are chilled. So, guys...
that was my Mitt 45 came out.
Derek, how are you, buddy?
Doing great. Excited to be here. I can dance whenever he's ready.
Oh, let's not dance. Let's go back to speaking of routines. The fitness at this year's Arnold Classic was a battle between a couple of the big contenders.
Ariel Kadar, Jacqueline Baker.
Yes, and Jacqueline Baker. You talk about people that were not happy to take a second, but Ariel Kadar racking her third Arnold Classic win.
Oh man, she's like Laura Lee Chapados, like we mentioned. She is unbeatable at the Arnold. She just embodies that show. She did the Terminator, this time she did the Predator. Everything clicks for her on that show. If she can present that at the Olympia, man, she could win the Olympia as well. I thought it was a convincing victory because she was in the two-piece. She did a good job. And then obviously when she does her routine and she brought the Predator, I thought it was one of the most memorable ones. Was it as memorable as the Terminator? No.
So you're going Terminator over a Predator?
Predator. Yeah, I still prefer the Terminator. But again, Ariel Kadar is so much energy, so much dynamic on stage. My feedback would be to Jacqueline Baker, who I love. I love her artistic side, and I think Jacqueline came out of her comfort zone. You look at Ariel Kadar, she has the same style as Whitney Jones. They come in blasting, okay? They're just incredible with their energy. Jacqueline Baker can have a performance that's a little bit more artistic. She sometimes does a little bit more of a slower pace, more artistic. The music is a little bit more mellow. She has moments where she stops, and even her outfit is a little bit more classic when she does that. And I think that's her best. I think she tried to play a little bit the game of Whitney Jones and Ariel Kadar coming in with high energy and this and that. And that's not Jacqueline Baker's game. Her game is the artistic, which sometimes Oksana Grishna plays that game too. She did it with the Joker, right?
Yes.
So I would recommend, Jacqueline, go back to, where you succeeded the most. And man, it's tough because this girl has been placing second, third, second, third, second, third. And some of these people winning are people that lost to her, placed fourth. Ariel Kadar placed fourth at the Olympia, and Jacqueline Baker placed third. So she beat Ariel Kadar. She's got to keep plugging in, and I think her time is coming, and Ariel Kadar needs to deliver at the big dance.
Yes, Jacqueline, I saw her before the show also, and we talked about her style leading up to the show and how that would fare against Hadar and, her dominance at this competition. And, I got to agree with my counterpart, my co-host, my best friend, Tarek Ergindi. I like to call him Tamer sometimes. But he actually brought this to light leading up to the show. But Hadar, I've been a fan for a long time, and I had thought that she would win Olympia by now, and I think she can be on her way. I think she still has an inner that she can get over the hump and place in that winner's circle in the fitness.
Tarek, she had a couple of stutters at last year's Olympia. Definitely brought her typical conditioned, balanced physique. And then you had the issues with Whitney and with Missy, which could have naturally moved her really high last year had it not been for Taylor Learmont coming out of nowhere.
Well, remember at the press conference, she said in front of everybody, I don't know who she is, in regards to Taylor Learmont. And Taylor stood up and did some amazing thing right in front of her and then gave her a look. Ooh, that was so good.
Like how about that?
I mean, there's something sexy about women going after each other.
What I mean? That was like a catch me
I don't know
outside.
what it is, but is there something sexy about, It's like two lionesses just fighting against each other, I thought it was beautiful. Ladies, don't be shy. Go ahead and attack each other, okay?
Catch me outside.
Men
How about
love
that?
when you show your fangs and you tell other women, I'm better than you. So
That's right.
that was a beautiful moment.
I might think you might want to leave that for
Sultry.
World Star Hip Hop.
Sultry.
So you had a couple others that there were industry figures near the top of the food chain. Jody Boehm and Ulrika Tergale.
It's challenging because in fitness there's almost like levels, and Ariel Kadar, Jacqueline Baker, Whitney Jones, Missy Truscott, Oksana, and now Taylor have joined that group. And I've not seen anybody, Tamara Vaughn. I love Tamara Vaughn.
Don't forget about Tamara Vaughn. She kicked butt in the physique.
Two-piece, yeah. Tamara Vaughn in the two-piece, but nobody has attacked this elite group. And this elite group has been winning the shows. It's challenging because, man, those women are superheroes. I would love to see an Olympia battle with Taylor Learmont, Ariel Kadar, and Oksana Grishna. Ooh. Because I think Taylor Learmont and Ariel Kadar, they're young girls, they're new in the scene, they might be the future, right? Oksana has won plenty of Olympias, Whitney Jones, but they might be the future. So if we create some hostility between them right off the bat, that would be great.
Well, you talk about the levels of people's routines and where they're at in that food chain. You also have to look at their physiques. I know that's not as big a portion as the...
1/3 of the judging is the physique, 2/3 is the routine.
So you're looking at Taylor, and then another one that had a great debut at last Olympia was Amber Steffen, who won Linda's show and then went on to do the Olympia, had a great routine, but they both lack the size to make that jump to that elite level. And I think that would have been what kept Taylor out of the top spot last year, would it not?
Correct, but Oksana also is not one of the top contenders on the two-piece. When it comes to fitness, it's important to have a great physique, but if you had to prioritize your time, go for the routine. because, you know, look at Oksana and Taylor Learmont's physique compared to some of the girls that play 6th and 7th. They're just not as good as those physiques, but those girls are dynamite. You know, you got to prioritize something. One of the few competitors that can do both is Missy Truscott. Missy Truscott is a freaking hurricane on the 2-piece, and then she's amazing on the routine. You know, and I mean, it's my personal opinion here, but if Missy doesn't get hurt, she probably has the title.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty fair to say.
Yeah, and like, you know, back to the Arnold, Tamara, she had a couple of bobbles in her routine and stuff. I think that cost her, but I know she was kind of disappointed and wanted to place higher towards the top. But yeah, you know, someone like Missy, you got to go back and say, like, man, what could have been, you know? So,
you know, looking down the road, you have a few that still need to qualify now that Ariel has got her spot back. And you got Jacqueline is qualified from last year's. Was she third last year, correct?
She was third. So Jacqueline Baker.
So she's already qualified. And then you got a whole host of...
You know, here's the deal with the fitness, and that's why it's so challenging for Tamara Vaughn and all those girls to come in this group. Whitney Jones, as a former Olympia champion, she can be there. Missy, Oksana. Now, you know, those girls are going to be there. Then you got Taylor, who's qualified, who's on fire. Everybody loves her. The up-and-coming star. Ariel Kadarja had a dominant performance. And then you're looking at Jacqueline Baker and you're going, she's been the most consistent of them all. Jacqueline Baker has been the most consistent fitness competitor. You don't get Jacqueline Baker out of the top 4 within the last 2 years on every big show. But she hasn't won yet. That is the big thing. Jacqueline Baker is due winning the Olympia or the Arnold. She's due.
And there are not a ton of opportunities for them to qualify in fitness. That's another big issue.
Yes, you know, they got to be very strategic with the shows they pick. But again, I love it. That's competitive. A lot of people complaining, oh, there's thousands of competitors at the Olympia. Well, it's a big dance, right? You can do a show and invite 6 people to your show, you know, and have a show. Or you can be the Olympia, this massive enterprise. And obviously, a lot of times we're looking at reducing the classes, but the Olympia is always going to be a little bit more competitors than your regular show. It is what it is. It's the big dance. It's like the Super Bowl. You're going to get more people there.
More people are going to come. Well, I'm excited, as always. This has been one of my favorite things since I was emceeing the Olympia back in the late 90s, early 2000s, back in the days of Jen Hendershot and Adela and so many, Monica Brandt was during those years. I love the high-energy, dynamic, explosive routines. And the fact that they can be so supremely conditioned and still pull off those routines.
Yes, it's one of the highlights of the competition when you see someone like Missy flying through the air. Like, I remember a few years ago she had the wings on stage. That was like awesome. You can go with countless routines that just like still stands out from years to come.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, it flies by. It really does. Like, subscribe, share, follow us, and always join us. We are your cardio buddy, so we've been told, here at Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins.
Chris, the real deal Cormier.
The one and only Derek.
Not Chris Cormier's best friend.
Derek Elgindy.
After the fisticuffs.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next Primetime Muscle.